Hey guys, it is Mo in the deep end with another deep dive into the Delphi case. Today we will be going over the press release that Richard Allen's attorneys posted and disseminated, and then probably prompting the gag order that we just received coming down from the Carroll County court system. So, without further ado, let's see what Mr. Allen's lawyers have to say. This is actually something that I was just made aware of, and the gag order was definitely probably prompted by this. But let's hear what they have to say. As Rick Allen's attorneys, we have received multiple requests from local and national media for interviews and comment since the unsealing of the probable cause affidavit. It would be virtually impossible to comply with these requests and continue to focus on the merits of Rick's defense. Therefore, we offer up these thoughts. We do not want to try this case in the media, and we intend to adhere to Indiana rules of professional conduct that provide guidance on pretrial publicity. However, the police and prosecutors' offices have conducted many press conferences over the 5+ years of this investigation following our client's arrest. On the other hand, Rick's ability to assert his innocence has been reduced to only one short post-hearing press conference. Accordingly, we feel it appropriate, necessary, and within the bounds of our rules of professional conduct to make a few comments concerning the probable cause affidavit and Rick's innocence. Y'all, I really want to see if they pick up on some of the stuff that I was picking up on. Look, I know I'm one of the very few that are, speaking up and saying, this looks kind of sus, kind of shady, kind of shenanigan-y. But let's see. So it says Rick is a 50-year-old man who has never been arrested nor accused of any crime in his entire life. He is innocent and completely confused as to why he's been charged with these crimes. Bullet point 2. The police did not, underlined, contact Rick after Libby German and Abby Williams went missing. Rather, Rick contacted the police and voluntarily discussed being on the trail that day. Like many people in Delphi, Rick wanted to help any way he could. Rick contacted the police to let them know he had walked on the trail that day, as he often did. Without Rick coming forward, the police would probably not have any way of knowing he was at the trail that day. Rick volunteered to meet with the conservation officer outside the local grocery store to offer up details of his trip to the trail on the day in question. Rick tried to assist with the investigation and told the police that he did recall seeing 3 younger girls on the trail that day. His contact with the girls was brief and of little significance. Rick does not recall if his interaction with the conservation officer was tape recorded, but he believes the conservation officer scribbled notes on a notepad as Rick spoke to him. I want to see those notes. And record everything. I believe Indiana is a single-party consent state. Warning label. I am not a lawyer. I am not a doctor. I am not even a spiritual advisor and or life coach. Look up your state's rules about recording before you say anything like Mo done sent me. No. Mo says find out yourself. After Rick shared his information with law enforcement officials, he went back to his job at a local CVS and didn't hear from the police for more than 5 years. The next time Rick heard from the police was in October 2022. This was approximately 2 weeks before a contested sheriff's election and within days of a federal lawsuit filed against Carroll County Sheriff's Office by its former second-in-command, Michael Thomas. In the lawsuit, Thomas claims that he, Thomas, quote, made suggestions and offered assistance in the investigation of a high-profile child homicide investigation, end quote, but that those suggestions and offers were rejected by the sheriff. Thomas further claimed that the sheriff and others in the department feared the disagreements with Thomas would become publicized as a result of the political campaign for sheriff. Thomas claims, sorry about that. No, Tokidoki, I don't need any more crap. I promise. I just ordered a bunch of t-shirts and mugs that I'm gonna have to tell Mr. Mo are totally and super serial for business. Thomas claims in the suit that he was ultimately demoted and replaced by Tony Leggett, who later that year won the 2022 election for sheriff. Furthermore, Thomas claims that he was also removed from high-profile cases. Rick was ultimately arrested on or about October 28th, 2022. In the 5+ years since Rick volunteered to provide information to the police, Rick did not get rid of his vehicle or his guns and did not throw out his clothing. He did not alter his appearance. He did not relocate himself to another community. He did what any innocent man would do and continued with his normal routine. The probable cause affidavit seems to suggest that the single magic bullet is proof of Rick's guilt. It is a bit premature to engage in a detailed discussions regarding the veracity of this evidence until more discovery is received. But it is safe to say that the discipline of tool mark identification, ballistics, is anything but science. Somewhere in the background, almost like the Ricola Man, I hear Nicholas yelling, "Junk science," just out in the blue. The entire discipline has been under attack in courtrooms across the country as being unreliable and lacking scientific validity. Sorry, I was going to make up my own word. We anticipate a vigorous legal and factual challenge to any claims made by the prosecution as to the reliability of its conclusions concerning the single magic bullet. On Rick's behalf, we argue that the PCA, or we argue to have the PCA unsealed. Rick has nothing to hide. As importantly, we are hoping that we would receive tips that would assist us in proving his innocence. Not surprisingly, we have been inundated with tips from a variety of sources, all of which will be vetted by our team. Although it is the burden of the prosecutor to prove Rick's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, the defense team looks forward to conducting its own investigation concerning Rick's innocence. We appreciate those that have reached out to support his cause. The prosecution mentioned at the last hearing his belief that others might have been involved in the killing, yet there was no mention in the PCA about a second suspect involved in the killing. The defense is confused by such discrepancies in an investigation and will be in a better position to respond as more discovery is received. Rick Allen owned a Ford Focus in February 2017. His Ford Focus is not in any way similar to the distinctive look of a PT Cruiser or smart car as described by the witness. It seems that CCSD is trying to bend facts to fit their narrative. At this point in time, we have received very limited information about this case and look forward to have something more to view than what it was offered by the sparse PCA. Moving forward, it is our intent to scrutinize the discovery as it is received and give the necessary attention to the volumes of tips that we are receiving. To the extent we continue to discover information that points to Rick's innocence, we will offer this up to the public, as long as we are not prohibited from doing so as a result of a recent request by the prosecutor for a gag order or by the Indiana Rules of Professional Conduct. Brad Rossi Hills. So it looks like it's Hills, Rossi, and Dean are the attorneys or the group that's representing him. So interesting. And shock and awe. I know you are going to be shocked, but the state, again, our shock, we cannot imagine it, got the gag order because of course they did. So let me get this up here. You know, it is much easier to do all the things with all the things where you want them to be. All right. So this is the gag order that the prosecution was hoping for, and we we kind of figured it would be. On the court's motion in response to the defendant's undated press release, the court issues an order granting the state's motion for an order prohibiting the parties, counsel, law enforcement officials, court personnel, coroner, and family members from disseminating. Side note, y'all, my not imaginary lawyer friend from Indiana has said that family members cannot be put on a gag order. Now, I have tried to explore that for other legal means, but apparently it is very rare that family members are part of these. From disseminating information or releasing any extrajudicial judicial statements by means of public communication in whole pending hearing, which the court has recently scheduled for January 13th, 2023 at 10 a.m. in the Carroll County Circuit Court. So it looks like I might try, you guys, to go to the no, January 20th. Mo is being a little special. Never mind. It's already 2023. There's not another January coming. Counsel for the state of Indiana and the defendant, as well as their professional staff and other personnel, law enforcement officials, court personnel, coroners, and all family members are prohibited from commenting on this case to the public and to the media, directly or indirectly by themselves or through any intermediary in any form, including social media platforms. Counsels are reminded they are required to conform to Indiana Rules of Court, Rules of Professional Conduct, specifically Rule 3.6, Trial Publicity in its entirety, and Rule 3.8, Special Responsibilities of a Prosecutor in its entirety. Well, isn't that special? But that is what we are looking at. So we have, ta-da, me back. I know this is a short video, but I'm trying to get some short little things that you guys can easily, just listen to while you're zoning out or trying to get some laundry done or, do things while you're out. So you don't have to marry yourself to, a 3-hour stream or things like this. I hope this gave you a little bit more of insight. I like that his legal team, agrees with me about everything because I like when people agree with me. I hope you guys have a great day and have fun. It's summer. It's fall here, apparently, because it is like 60 daggone degrees. But have fun, and I will see y'all later. Bye.